Bristol's rates have more than doubled in a week, as have South Gloucestershire's, but the amount of people needing to go to hospital with the virus here is still very low. So do the rising cases matter? Well, Andrew is here to talk us through it. What's the latest then, Andrew?
Hi Liz. Yeah, I get asked this question every day. If the hospital bed occupation rates aren't increasing with COVID patients, if people aren't getting really sick, then what's the problem? Why can't we just go back to normal, open up and ignore the rising coronavirus rates? But the problem is at the moment that it's the rate of increase that's really mattering. So can we just put up on the screen there the rates for people? So you can see there, this is the average rate across the West Country over about the last 10 weeks since we started to really ease lockdown. You can see it stayed really stable for about 7 weeks, but then in the last couple of weeks it's roughly doubled and then roughly doubled again. So what the government is doing really is what it's been accused of not doing in the past, which is acting early, because we know that about 1 in 20 people who catch the virus will need hospital treatment, whatever their age, so about 5% of people. If you've got 100 cases of the virus, that's 5 people who might need hospital treatment, which is fine. That's not going to overwhelm any parts of the NHS. But in the southwest, for example, a couple of weeks ago we had 1,000 cases. A week later that had doubled to 2,000. So that would mean maybe in about 10 days' time, perhaps 100 people would need hospital beds. Now that's way off the numbers we had back in January when it was 400 to 500 people who needed hospital treatment here. But you can see that is heading in the wrong direction. So that's why they've decided to delay that full reopening so they can give people more time to get vaccinated and hopefully level off that steep climb in coronavirus rates right now.
And there are some parts of the West, aren't there, where rates really are rising quite steeply?
Yeah, so over the past couple of weeks, we've seen everywhere turn from sort of up and down arrows. We had some really low cases back when the summer started, single figures, some low teens, but now we're seeing some fairly steep rises, and at the moment, all the arrows are going up. Some are still pretty low, most places below the national average, which is about 70 cases per 100,000. But if you look at places like Bristol, that's doubled inside a week. South Gloucestershire has more than doubled inside a week. So it's those rising case rates that is the problem. And as I said before, for every person who gets a virus, if it's 1 in 20 of those people, at the moment, that is really low levels. We've only got about 25 beds across the whole of the southwest occupied by COVID patients. But it's the modelling that's the problem, and the modelling shows that if those numbers keep going up very steeply, you're only a few weeks away from having hundreds of beds occupied, and that is what they're trying to avoid.
Yeah, I guess it's all about acting early, as you say, isn't it?
That's what they're trying to do.
And more figures coming out this afternoon?
More about 5 o'clock, so we'll bring them to you on Points West at 6:30.
OK, great. Thanks very much, Andrew.